Hey guys, how's it going? This is Mike from M&R Automotive. Today we have a 2025 Ram 1500 and we've installed a 40-inch curved Pro Series M&R light bar. In order to remove the grill, first thing we have to do is remove the top cover. There's a bunch of push pins all around and you can remove them with either a flathead screwdriver or a prying tool. So what you want to do is get your prying tool screwdriver underneath, raise the top of the pin and take it out. So once you have all the push pins removed, we can go ahead and lift up on this cover and put it to the side. So the brow consists of these bolts on top and there's two push pins. So since I already have my tool in my hand, let's go ahead and remove the two push pins. So now that I have two push pins out, let's go ahead and get the bolts out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So by taking out all the hardware from the top, we should be able to separate the brow from the grill. So just push this forward and then it comes out. Set this aside. Now I want to take out these four 10mm screws on top. So everything on top is already removed. Let's go ahead and take off these two sides because there's going to be a couple of hidden bolts on each side that secures the grill on the bottom. So what we want to do, we want to get a flathead screwdriver or a prying tool. If you want to try to pry it from the bottom, there is some clips, and the way to disconnect them is just by pushing inward, and that's going to kind of take the flap to the side and it's going to release. So here's one. No, let me get a screwdriver, it's going to work better. I'm going to grab it on the bottom and then I'm going to go ahead and press the tab in. See? So what I was doing with the screwdriver is pressing on these tabs so that way they unclip. So when you screw this in and you press in, it makes it unclip and you have access to these bolts. So let's do the same thing on the passenger side. Okay, so same thing here. I'm going to go ahead and release the tabs. There it is, that's one. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and use an extension to get these bolts out. Alright, so on this side to summarize, we've taken out two long ones and one short 10mm screw. Now let's do the same thing on the passenger side. Now that we've removed all the bolts on top and 3 on each side on the bottom, we can pop off the grill. There's 2 locks here on the outside. What you want to do here is just lift these up. It's a tab. Lift it up, unlatch it, lift it up, unlatch it, and now you can grab it and remove it. So these are the brackets that you get with M&R kit, a driver and a passenger side, and notice the mounting bolts on the outside of the bracket. So we're going to do the driver one first. So on each side of the grill, you do have 3 studs that are used to assemble the grill from behind. We're going to actually reuse them. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to slide the M&R bracket on the top bolt. The bottom bolt has a cutout because you can't put a nut on it. And then I'm going to thread an M8 bolt right on top. 13 socket, I'm gonna go ahead and screw it on, and I'm also gonna apply pressure on the bottom because we want it at the lowest position. So I'm gonna press it down and tighten it. Now I'm gonna go give it a couple more, make sure it's nice and tight. There we go. Just a quick reminder, we're just gonna use the bolt on top. The bottom one is just a cutout because we weren't able to thread a nut on it. So let's go ahead and do the same thing on the passenger side. We got the passenger side bracket. I'm gonna go ahead and thread it on the top bolt. All right, now we're ready to go ahead and reinstall the grill. So now that the mounts are attached, let's go ahead and reinstall the grill back. We wanted to remove the grill, install the main mounts, reinstall the grill back, and then we're gonna go ahead and install the secondary mounts with the light bar. So you also in the M&R kit get the side mounts for the light bar. Bolt is on the inside of the light bar, right underneath it, and we're going to use supplied hardware to install these mounts. Flip the light bar over. Just a reminder, the welded nut is on the inside of the light bar, right underneath it. So now we're going to go ahead and thread these bolts into the mounting points of this light bar. We're going to put a nut here. So now I'm going to go ahead and tighten these bolts. So now that we have the light bar mounted, let's go ahead and put all the bolts and the grill back on permanently. and run the wiring for the light bar. I'm gonna go under, it's gonna come out behind the grill to the side, under the side here, and then it's gonna come out on top. Now on the wire, you do get 3 wires inside. You get a red wire, which is the positive for the white light. You get the white wire, which is the positive for the Amber DRL, and you get a black wire, which is the ground. If your ramp comes with auxiliary switches, you can go ahead and connect the power sources directly to them. If you do not, you can use a generic wiring harness, or you can opt in for the M&R wireless wiring harness, which makes installation a lot easier because you don't have to drag any wires inside the cab. You just connect it to the battery, connect the light bars to it, and you control everything wirelessly through a remote. Let me show you how I'm going to wire it. Because our truck did not come with auxiliary switches, we're going to use the M&R wireless controller. You get your operation manual, you get your stickers for the wireless remote. There's a remote, there's the actual controller, a magnetic pad for the remote. You use the 3M tape to put this pad in somewhere inside the cab, and then it'll just stick and then create a base for the remote. You get some mounting zip ties, and we get a bag of hardware. You get a master fuse, and this is 100 amp. You get a fuse holder, and when you take the cover off, that's where we're going to connect the master power wire. So let's go ahead and connect the fuse. I'm going to go ahead and unscrew these 2 bolts. Take off the top washer. I'm going to go ahead and slide the fuse here. And we're going to also connect the 2 terminals. So inside the baggie you get 2 red wires. This is going to be our power wires. You get a ground wire. Also get an ACC wire. It's an optional feature. We're actually not going to use this ACC wire for this project because the fuse size is different, so we're going to put it away. So now that we're installing the master fuse for the fuse box, we're going to go ahead and connect the 2 power wires, one on each side. We're going to use the washer and the nut that we previously removed. On the second end, we do the same thing. We're going to connect the terminal. We're going to put a washer, a lock washer, and a nut. One end inside the box, one end to the battery, and there's a fuse in the middle. So let me show you how to connect this wire into this box. Let's go ahead and take off the 4 bolts. And if you look inside, there's a battery plus and a battery minus tag. So the red wire is going to go to the battery plus. We're going to unscrew this. I'm going to slide the terminal underneath it like that, and we can tighten it. Now that the positive is ready, we're going to do the same thing for the ground. It's a small terminal here. So now we have this unit assembled, and we can connect it to the battery of the truck. And I'm going to go ahead and connect positive terminal to the positive of the battery, and I'm going to connect ground to the ground of the battery. And the way you know that you connected everything correctly, you get a green light here. Now we're ready to connect our light bar to it. So what I want to do, I'm going to take off the sheathing because I want to take that black wire out. We're going to have to get it connected to a ground, and we're going to connect the 2 power sources because those are 2 positives for the light bar. The red one is our powerful white light. We're going to connect it to switch number 1 and screw it, put it under the first terminal, and we tighten the bolt. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the DRL function on switch number 4. So now we have to ground the light bar, which is the black wire. We're going to put a eyelid, and we're going to find the ground on the vehicle. A ground can be any bolt on the chassis, or you can go directly to the negative terminal on the battery. I'm going to connect the ground eyelid to it. So now let's go ahead and test it just to make sure we wired everything properly. So switch number 1, that's going to be the powerful white light. Looks amazing. And then switch number 4, that's going to be the Amber DRL. Thank you guys for watching, and I know you're going to love the product.